It's really hard to look at any ancient mythological system without realizing that they thought in cyclical terms, not in linear terms. So literally, as we would put it today, what goes around comes around. My interest was, could there have been a forgotten episode in human history? And I began to find the evidence forcing me to look at a period of about 12,000 years ago, or it was the end of the last ice age. And much in the mythology seemed to suggest that the cataclysm that occurred then in some way was going to come back. And so I found that my quest was not only for the beginning of human civilization, but also for the end of human civilization, and that the ancients seemed to be passing down some kind of warning, or perhaps taking into account that human civilization would change greatly, that cultures would change, that languages would be lost, looking for a universal system of communication. And it seemed to me that they looked to the heavens for that system, because the stars will always be above us and have always been above us. And if it's possible to encode your message by using the changing patterns of the stars, then you might hope that at some distant date someone else might be able to read that message. And this was when I came across the ancient Maya. The Maya were avid stargazers and appear to have inherited a body of astronomical knowledge from the Olmecs before them. And so it's in the Olmec monuments that we get the first hint of a calendar system, and that calendar system is perfected into a fine-tuned device by the ancient Maya. And like so much of ancient thought, it is cyclical in nature, that they are repeating periods of history just over 5,000 years in length. And it's just a fact that the latest cycle of the Maya calendar begins somewhere before 3000 BC and culminates on the 21st of December 2012. For the Maya, the idea that what was there before is lost and then returns would have made perfect sense. And it's this sense of a cyclical cataclysm linked to a cyclical rebirth that I found most eerie, really, and spooky in the Mayan tradition.
The Mayans were extraordinary astronomers. They were able to foretell heavenly phenomenon centuries into the future.
What is crucial is the position of our sun against the background of the stars at the winter solstice, the 21st of December. And what we find is that the sun is rising against the background of the dead center of the Milky Way in our time. And the Maya knew this, and they knew that people would be able to observe it. And they're saying, this is a very important moment, take account of this, realize that you live in a time of change and a time of transition.
The prophecies of the Maya are shared by other ancient American cultures, including the Hopi and the Inca. Psychologist and author Alberto Villoldo has spent many years with the Peruvian elders of the Andes and has been able to bring back their warning of a catastrophic time for humanity, but also the possibility of a new golden age.
Humans have become a parasite on this planet. I mean, we are committing matricide. We're killing our mother who supports us. The Earth is designed to support a population of under 1 billion people riding bicycles to work, not 7 billion driving SUVs. So the prophecies speak about this time of a culling of humanity, of a harvesting of souls, and of a decimation of large parts of the human race, and the beginning of a millennium of gold, of tremendous opportunity. They're very optimistic, they're very hopeful for the planet. They're not that optimistic for humanity at large. I had a shaman tell me one time, Alberto, we're going to miss our white brother. So they speak about a correction and a bringing back of balance to the earth. The way that this was announced was with the wrath of our father, the sun. They speak about the drying of the high mountain lagoons, the melting of the glaciers. This was to be the beginning of an apocalyptic era. But the prophecy spoke that the world would be set right again with the new planetary alignment that would take place.
12-21-12 prediction of the Mayan calendar is predicated on the assumption that the solar system travels around the galaxy in a predictable path, and that on that particular date we will eclipse the center of the galaxy. There will be the Earth, here's the Sun, here's the center of the Milky Way. We will be cut off from a direct connection to the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And we will therefore be deprived of a certain energetic sustenance that we require for continuing to live as we have. What could that mean? The best description was given me, and I did go down to Guatemala and spend some time with Mayan shamans, and they related it to when you lose power in your house. For some appliances and some functions, there's no problem. When the power comes back on, the lights go back on. But there's certain things, the VCR clock and the microwave, that are thrown out of kilter even for being cut off from that sustenance for just a second. And that is their physical explanation for the danger of this eclipse.
The timing of it means that all of the heavens will be aligned behind us to enable us to bring forth a new time into the planet, a time of possibility, of opportunity, of healing. I attended the most recent reading of the prophecy in 1998, where they were taking the pulse of the planet to see where we were within the division that had been received by the ancient ones. And in that reading of the prophecy, they said that the upheaval and the turmoil was to be far greater than had been anticipated, with the possibility of cascading crises. Not a single crisis, but 2 or 3 that would cascade off each other, bringing about dramatic corrections in the Earth's climate, making parts of the planet inhospitable and uninhabitable.
I think that there is a very real possibility that around 2012 we'll see a shifting of the paradigm, and more people will be becoming aware of who we are, where we came from, our place in the universe, and then that would pretty much coincide with the Mayan prediction that we'll be into a new age.
None of the ancient cultures that were able to calculate cycles of time with such incredible precision had the powerful telescopes and computers available to modern-day astronomers. Instead, they used naked eye observations of the stars above over multiple lifetimes to record and chart changes in the heavens and eventually to plot full cycles of time.
The precession of the equinoxes is the astronomical process that underlies the Mayan calendar and all ancient systems of cyclical time. And perhaps I should just say a word about what the precession of the equinoxes is. Precession fundamentally is an observation of the heavens, and an observation that at certain seasons of the year, particular markers, the equinoxes and the solstices, if you look at the background of stars behind the sun, you'll find that that background is very, very slowly changing. And it's changing at the rate of 1 degree every 72 years. And the view of mainstream astronomers as to why this is happening is they hypothesize, they have not proved, that there is a cyclical wobble on the axis of the Earth, rather like the wobble of a top that has been spinning fast, but its spin has begun to decay, and the poles of the top begin to make a great circle. And this is what they believe is happening with the Earth. Now, because the Earth is the viewing platform from which we observe the stars, changes in orientation of that viewing platform will cause changes in the observed appearance and positions of the stars in the sky at particular times of year. And because it's a circular wobble, the whole thing is a cycle, and in fact unfolds over a vast span of time. 25,920 years takes you back from the starting position of the clock back fully around the clock to the same position again. So the constellation that is rising behind the sun today in our time and for a period of roughly 2,000 years, which we're just entering into the age of Aquarius, when the constellation of Aquarius houses the sun, it will be 26,000 years, 25,920 years before that constellation again rises behind the sun.